You're listening to the Low Pressure Podcast, the podcast for skiers.
Presented by CMH Heli Skiing and Peak Performance.
The Low Pressure Podcast is sponsored by CMH Heli Skiing, where you can choose from 11 unique locations and experiences, including 4, 5, 6, and 7-day signature trips, the brand new single-day trips. You can do small groups with just you, 4 friends, and a guide, or the private and exclusive, where you get the whole place just to yourself. So find your next adventure at cmhheli.com. The Low Pressure Podcast is also sponsored by Peak Performance. There are many ways to make it down a mountain, but the best line is your line. And the adventure is there, so make it yours. Visit peakperformance.com and get the gear to unlock your free ride spirit. Emil.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the Low Pressure Podcast.
Thank you. Pleasure.
I'm glad you're here. He said this is your first ever podcast.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm stoked. I'll be gentle.
Thank you.
All right. So what is your opinion? No, I was kidding. So what are you here for? I'll tell you. So I know you were skiing with the head crew and with Jeffy, and I just sent Jeffy a text last night and was like, hey, you want to ask Emil if he'd be interested in coming on the show? And then he just sent me a picture of you sitting at his kitchen table.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, he's in. I'm like, nice. And now you're here.
Yeah, fast decisions. I'm here. First time in Canada.
Right. This is exciting. So, you've only been here for 3 days now, I guess?
Yeah, in Whistler, yeah.
Yeah. What's your experience so far? How would you sum it up thus far? Or have you had much chance to see?
I don't know. It's just experience.
Yeah.
Crazy. Like snow everywhere. Everything is like times5 compared to what we have in Sweden and Europe.
What do you mean by times5?
Like the trees, the snowflakes, all the groceries, trucks, cars.
Everything's bigger.
Yeah.
Everything's bigger than in Sweden.
Yeah. And also like longer approaches to get to nice terrain.
Yeah.
But it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having a good time so far.
Yeah, Jeff is taking such a good care of us. It's insane.
So you were in Baker for a few days, right?
Yeah, I think we were skiing there for 3 or 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
Flew in to Seattle, drove up to Baker, and there was no snow there, like 2 days before I came, and then huge amount of snow came.
Megastorm.
Yeah.
Megastorm. That's pretty sweet. So you've been kind of, I guess, always a slope rider, right? You were on this, the slope competition circuit, that sort of thing.
Yeah, true gibber.
Yeah, true gibber. So is this like your first real experience with like deep mega pow?
Yeah, for sure, deep mega pow. But I've been exploring more terrain, but not skiing this much powder ever.
No. Was it what was the adjustment like? Was it like, oh, this is amazing, it's just natural? Or was it like a little weird at first?
Yeah, we went to Japan last season.
Mm-hmm.
We got some really deep skiing too, but it takes a while to figure it out.
Right?
It's like more like a floating emotion or motion and emotion.
Yeah, like versus what?
Yeah, versus hard pack.
Oh yeah, the floating, and then like being able to move through it. You almost have to like pump.
And also
your
to
legs.
make it look good in front of the camera is not the easiest.
Oh yeah, right. Because you can't really go through looking like a Gumby, like a Gorb.
No.
Right, trying to struggle through like deep pow. Did you get like any advice from the crew on like?
Yeah, for sure. Jordy Kidner got the advice.
Yeah, what did Jordy have to say? Jordy's a beauty. I love that guy.
I'm not gonna tell you all the tricks, but
what about like filming the tricks for filming deep pow?
Yeah.
You're not gonna share it?
Nah.
Oh goodness.
It's more like doing a ninja kick than like proper carve.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have to like kind of push your legs out and let the snow kind of like absorb it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like you're like kicking through.
Yeah.
Right? While keeping your body upright. Did you blow any shots? Like learning how to
For sure.
Learning how to figure it out?
Yeah.
And is there like, are there nerves for you with that? Like Jeffy has seen it all. He's done it all. All those guys have all made their mistakes. They've all learned how to do it, so they don't really care. But are you the kind of person that's a little self-conscious about, you know, a new crew and a new place, just like to get it right, or are you more relaxed?
Yeah, but I think I'm more relaxed, not having any expectation and just thinking that every day is your best day and trying to have as much fun as possible, and you're ending up doing something fun. And
right,
yeah,
you get to do this for a living.
Yeah,
that's pretty sweet. Hey,
feeling super grateful for that.
So where are you from? Like, let me know kind of your history. I always like to, when people like yourselves who I don't really know super well, I always want to get to know them. Like, that's why I love these conversations. And I showed you the paper with all the questions I wrote down.
Yeah, there it was a blank,
yeah,
big blank paper.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from a small town called Falun.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 2.5 hours northwest from Stockholm.
Mm-hmm.
It's just in the middle of the country.
Right.
Sort of. Small town, 30,000 people.
I was going to say 30.
No, 30,000.
Yeah.
Small ski hill, 1 T-bar lift and 1 normal Palma lift.
Yeah. And is there like good terrain there? Like where you can just like skin? You're smiling, maybe not.
I don't know how many versts there is, but 1 run takes maybe 30 seconds to go.
Oh, so it's just a small little hill. It's kind of like,
if you go full straight.
Kind of like hills back in the east coast of like Canada or United States, where they're a little
it's
bit
more
smaller.
like an east coast vibe where I grew up skiing.
Right.
But my home park there was like 2 slopes, and then they had a park, so only like 3 slopes, and one of them was a park.
Mm-hmm.
And they always like super motivated to do stuff there, and I was after school skiing night skiing there, just skiing rails and learning new tricks and
every day. How far north is it? Like, what time does it get dark there?
It's not that far north that you would think of, but for sure we have like dark.
It's dark at like 2:00.
No. In maybe December, we have 4 hours of sunlight there when it's the darkest.
Really? So like night skiing is kind of still like day skiing. Day skiing is still kind of like night skiing.
Yeah.
So they had this little park set up, mostly just like a rail park, or is it steep enough for like big jumps at all?
2 little like red or black jumps, 1 bigger jump.
Right.
But mostly like jibs and small stuff. It's a snowboarder community who runs the park.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Baker. Baker's a really like snowboard heavy hill. Did you notice that?
Yeah, but you can't compare Baker to the small hill.
No, yeah.
It's called Kjellviksbacken. You should look it up. It's
what's it called?
Kjellviksbacken.
Yep.
Falu Snow Park. Yeah.
Is there like pictures of you like in the lodge?
Not really, no.
No,
I was skiing there, and then I like 7th grade, I knew I wanted to ski more.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had my like vision on going to a Freeski academy.
Right.
Near Kläppen.
Okay.
Ski resorts, and that's like 3 more hours north of Falun.
Right.
So pretty close to home.
Right. So it's like school
Yeah.
with like a ski program.
Yeah. So
did you like talk to mom and dad, be like, hey, I really like this, I'm good? Is it for like freestyle, or is it like a race school, or is it a little bit of everything? Like, how does that work?
I don't know how long they've been running it, but over 20 years, I guess.
Really?
And they have alpine snowboarders and freeski classes. And I decided they have a program when you're like, if you're like focused on competition and want progression, you can pick a program for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
You ski a bunch and study a lot during like off season.
Right.
So, and it was the best time for me to move out from a little town, come see.
So is it like a boarding school then? So you just left mom and dad?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
How was that experience? Were you like fired up or nervous, or?
I was prepared.
Were you?
Like, always doing my laundry by myself and dishes, and
Oh, really?
I couldn't wait to like move.
Really?
Yeah.
Self-sufficient at 13 years old.
At 15 at least, yeah.
Yeah, 15.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And then so from there you kind of developed your skills, and you build up, and then you started to move into like FIS freestyle competitions, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You're in the Euro Cup for a while.
Yeah, so I think I was, I don't know, 15, 16, 17. I did my first World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So it was
How
really
did that go?
early.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, first World Cup. You're always so gassed up and a little bit like over yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I landed a run.
Oh, no.
No. And then slowly moving towards, going into the national team, and that was a wild ride. I think I did 6 or 7 seasons on and off World Cups and Europa Cups.
Right, just travel.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
then now you've kind of have you officially retired from like the travel?
Not really. Like, I just see myself as now after doing a lot of comps, I wanted to become more of a overall skier. Just I love riding park, but my vision, I know I just look more at mountains and
Right. You want to do some
try
more,
to read it.
do some more like big mountain backcountry free ride kind of style, right? The shift has been made because how old are you right now?
26, just turned 26.
Okay, so I was gonna say you're still quite young, so all your
Sure.
your knees and your body still work pretty good, and like you're not that sore yet, I'm sure.
No.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Do you I think of like that route, like a lot of skiers have kind of taken that route as well. Like I think of like Jakob Wester,
Yeah.
for instance. Like he's a Swede who spends a lot of time in Norway and in skiing big lines now, kind of making that transition.
Yeah.
Do you chat with him about that kind of stuff? Well, because you guys on the, did you go do the big ski tour this fall with, because you had Census and you had his film.
Yeah, we did a film tour together with Jakob and Nikolaj Schirmer and
Hedvig.
Hedvig.
Yeah, what was that called?
Super tour.
The Super Tour.
Yeah.
Right.
Got the shirt on me right now.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was, because we were doing IF3 and Jakob and Sophia came out here for IF3 the year before.
Oh.
And we were going to see if they wanted to come out. And then I saw you guys were putting on this like Super Tour. It looked super, super fun.
Yeah, I don't know how many stops there were, but
Like a dozen at least.
2 weeks of premieres. I only did like 4 of them
Mm-hmm.
in Sweden and 2 in Norway. Yeah.
Yeah. So within that, did you know Jakob before, or did you?
Yeah, a little bit,
Yeah.
but I haven't. More of I know his brother Oscar from competing.
Yeah.
But then Jakob always been a role model and always like have a vision of going to ski bigger mountains together with him.
Yeah. So did you chat about that, like when you were, on tour? I'm sure picking his
definitely.
brain, being like, "Hey, you get an extra. Is there room for 3?
He's
3 in
always
that van?"
down for adventure, and he always wants good people with him. And
Maybe that's something to work on in the future, right?
yeah, I got a trip planned with him this last week of March.
Oh, okay. So you already do.
Yeah.
Ah, nice. I wasn't setting that up because I already knew, but that's pretty cool. And it's like a film trip, photo trip, like
Their project. I don't know what the project is about, but for sure something with skiing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be a little bit more focused on me joining Jakob and learn from him, and
Right.
a little bit of guidance.
Yeah, because that's interesting. Like I said, I didn't know that, and it seemed to be a kind of a person that would already did what you're kind of starting to get into.
The transition.
So having him as a mentor could be a really good thing.
Yeah, I feel like I have such a lot of good mentors when it comes to. So I live together also with the ski man guy,
Magnus.
Magnus.
Right.
And he is super down to go free riding all the time.
He's always down for stuff. So I chatted with Magnus.
Yeah.
I talked to him today.
Great guy.
Yes, he did, and I asked him some questions about you.
Oh. All right.
And I was gonna try and surprise you with this, but so I was like, we had a good long chat with him. Just he's talking about everything that's going on with him and stuff as well. So I was like, what do I got to ask him about? And he said, ask him about his love for Volvos.
Okay, that's great. I used to have an old Volvo from '96, an old Volvo 850.
Yeah, the square ones.
Yeah.
And was it a wagon?
No, it was what do you call it?
Sedan.
Sedan, yeah.
Yeah.
Got it from my grandma. before she passed away.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had like almost up to 40,000 kilometers on it. No,
400?
400 miles. Do you say that?
Yeah, we say kilometers here. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's kilometers and then miles, whatever one you want to do. But 400,000 on either is pretty impressive.
Like dark blue. Yeah.
Ooh, so we had a buddy here. When he told me that, I kind of laughed because I had a friend named Darren Hainsberger that used to buy like early 80s Volvos before that box shape. And he would have one and then it would just start falling apart and then he would buy another crappy one and
Just
and
put
like
the pieces together.
like Frankenstein the parts all together, and he just kept going to a point where we were like, dude, just buy a new car. Like, you spent so much money on these Volvos that you could have bought like a brand new truck by now.
Yeah.
But they work and they run well. Like, we had another buddy that had one like you did, but it was a full wagon and it was black. He called it the Black Pearl. And it was such a good like ski mobile.
And now I have a Volvo from 2006, only like 10,000 kilometers on it, and I hope to have it my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? He's just like national. You're just like, you have that national pride.
No, it just happens that I come across these cars. But I only had, this is my second car, and I just hope they can run forever, so I don't have to do stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
He also told me to ask you about your thoughts on curry.
Curry, the spice.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah. So
Are you a big fan?
for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my mom's boyfriend, he's a really big fan of, he has a grinder and he mixes it all together so it's super fresh. And
Oh, like he creates his own like curry mix, spice mixes,
Yeah.
right?
And every Christmas I get a big jar of curry. And I make Magnus my classic Emil's curry eggs in the morning.
Curried eggs.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the recipe?
Sunny side up,
Mhm.
you crack the yellow part and then put some curry on it with salt and pepper. And the curry goes so well with the yellow part. It's insane.
With the really?
Yeah.
I never thought about that before. So I
Remember it, where you heard it from.
I'm gonna do it and I'll send you a photo.
Everybody's like, I don't want to have curry in the morning, but after trying that,
because he sent me, we chatted and then he sent me a text afterwards, ask him about curry, and I was like, all right, I will. I figured it was maybe like the opposite of you like not liking it or like not enjoying it, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But it's actually way better. Do you consider yourself like a cook, like a chef?
Curry master, yeah.
A curry master.
Yeah.
Is that your only curry dish, or do you like,
I got a bunch of options when it comes to curry.
for real? What did you think about like the Japanese style
Japanese style of,
curry? Because it's a little different. It's like almost like a gravy.
not so experienced when it comes to Japanese curry.
Oh yeah, they got those little glico things. It's almost like a gravy style that they like pour on. You got to investigate that. The curry master.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, man. But yeah, you live with Magnus, which is super cool. And he said that he loves living with you because you're just always super positive, always up for everything. You know, never, you know, whatever's going on, you're just happy, good, go lucky guy. You know, as long as you get your coffee, you're good to go. And he's like, we were talking about, he's like, I'm not really like a roommate guy, but if I have to have a roommate, Emil's the best guy for a roommate.
I'm the same. I'm not the kind of a roommate guy either. But it just goes so good with Magnus.
How did you guys end up like connecting? So I know you're part of the Bunch as well, which I want to talk about because I'm a huge fan of all the Bunch films. And I was telling him, and I've said this many, many times, I don't consider them like yearly films. I consider them like albums. Because we were talking about music earlier, and you know, when a band that you like or a group that comes out, they come up with a new album. It's like, all right, this is going to sound different. They may experience with different like techniques, or, you know, every album for a lot of those bands that I like are usually different from the one before. And that's what I think about with the Bunch films. Like Census was awesome, like mind-boggling. It's so different from anything out there. Like No Time for Matching Socks, like they're two different, very, very different movies. But they're both super fun to watch. So how did you get connected with like Magnus and the Bunch? How did that all come together with you?
First time I heard Magnus' name, we got like nominated by a magazine, like Swedish Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was 16, and I saw I was up against this guy, and I had no clue about him.
Oh, you were part of the competition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just thought that, wow, this guy must be something. But then I didn't know him. And I think it was like my first slush cup I did in Andorra.
Mm-hmm.
He was there, and we bonded. And then, just like knowing those guys more, I always tried to put time besides competition to join those guys for filming. And
Mm-hmm.
I realized after a time, like, I'm having so much more fun with these positive guys. Like, it's like a unit creating something positive for everybody. No one's being selfish when it comes to shots, and just a super good group of people that take care of each other, and everybody's like welcoming. And
Right. And that's got to be very different from the competition circuit.
yeah.
Because I know like people that are on the circuit, like it's a big family, but when it comes down to why you're there, then you have to focus on yourself, right? Like I need to have my best run. You know, you never want to see anybody crash, but as long as they're fine, sometimes you're like, okay, that's good. Like this, you know, do you know what I mean? Like this person's my competition. I don't want them to hurt themselves. I don't want anything bad to happen to them. But if you crash and you're like, oh no, okay, you're good, you're fine. All right, that's good for me. And now I can focus on my run, right? Because in the long run, it's a competition. Versus like what you said with the bunch is everybody's just there to promote it, pump each other up, and like, oh, you know, you'd be good for this line, or like, I bet you'd hit that rail better.
Yeah.
You know, look what you just did with that crazy, the feature. How did you come up with that? You know, I think which is kind of cool. And is that like kind of where you're kind of driving your skiing, or like your focus now in your career is just a bit more of that, a little bit more collaboration, a little bit more fun?
For sure. Yeah. Just know I want to be around people that are gassed up and spreads a positive vibe, and I try to plan my future going in that direction.
I love that you said gas up, because that's exactly what he said too. We gas each other up. I love it.
And we're all about into hot saunas and the cold ice bath.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that's our speciality.
Do you have a sauna?
Yeah, we have some sauna close by to a river we go to, and when it's me and Magnus in the sauna, it's dangerous.
Is that where you come up with like your best ideas?
Could be the spot, yeah.
Right? You're just sitting in there sweating, like a lot of the other BS goes away, and you just like brainstorm.
No,
like...
it's more like we're just like in the moment at that time, actually. But then, of course, talking about adventures.
Right.
Yeah.
How much input do you have on like the creative drive for a lot of those films? Or are you there, you know, to show up to the shoot and then you have your input, or do you have a lot of like the planning involved in a lot of the bunch films or projects?
It's always different.
Yeah.
On every other project.
Someone will step up and have an idea, or
so matching socks was Per Hägglund's idea and Gustav Kavelin. Jens was also on it on the side, but they produced that. And Magnus always, he's a big he's not a big planner guy normally in his life, but he really takes the responsibility.
he seems like a good organizer to
but
me.
Everybody is a good organizer, I would say.
Yeah.
But he's really good organizer.
Right.
Sometimes. He's really optimistic too. That's why everything happens. But sometimes it can get a back. What do you call it?
Backslap.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can come and bite you in the end. But I guess being optimistic and open for things, and like willing to fail, or like willing for things to go wrong, a lot can go right.
Yeah. Most of the stuff do go right.
Yeah, right. What was one of your favorite projects with that crew, or is it just they're all just individual moments?
A special moment was the like spring vibes for matching socks, because we filmed that over the COVID season.
Oh, really?
And it was a special season for me because I had to I had like bad results from the World Cup, so I had to do a season on the Europa Cup,
Right.
and I was not that very gassed on it. But I think I ended up like winning 4 stops,
Wow.
and then COVID came, and I won the whole cup. So I had a bunch of I won the Europa Cup. I can film as much as possible, and I think we did like over a month of camping
Really?
in a big military tent, and
Very cool.
you're just like in this ski bubble
Right.
together
With your buddies getting stuff done, adventuring, right?
Yeah. Of course, we're all ending up having COVID together too, and
In the tent.
yeah. And you go crazy, insane in that tent.
Why? Just because you can't go anywhere or do anything? And
Yeah.
you guys are tired of each other?
Yeah.
I don't want to eat curried eggs every morning for breakfast anymore.
I didn't do that at that time. That was a later invention.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's sweet. So you've also done a lot of traveling recently.
Yeah.
And I guess with, traveling, World Cup, it's different from this kind of travel. Because when you go to World Cup, from what I've learned to believe is you show up, you have like a arrival day, and then you do like meetings or whatever. And then
two training days normally.
Couple training days, and then comp day, and then boom, you're out of there.
On to the next, yeah.
Yeah, so I've heard that you never really get a chance to kind of explore the area or the region that you travel to, right? Like, is there a stop on the tour that you've been to that you just wish you could have spent more time at? Like which ones? All of them?
All of them, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a struggle to... I like to be at one spot for like 2 weeks at least.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the whole scenery, and
you can get your body adjusted, and like you can understand. You get a chance to understand actually what's going on.
Also have time to rest.
Right.
I prefer to have. But it's not... Yeah, I remember this is not the first time going to Canada. I was actually in Quebec a couple of seasons ago. But then...
It's very different.
Yeah.
Were you like skiing urban in like Montreal?
No, that was the
Quebec
World
City?
Cup city, big air.
Oh, right.
And also Slopestyle. I can't remember the slope. It had green rails, and it was awesome terrain park. Yeah, I don't know.
Mont Saint Anne or Mont Tremblant. I actually don't know.
No.
But that's interesting because you're like, yeah, this is my first time in Canada, and you're like, oh wait, I have been here,
Yeah.
but I didn't really get to spend time here. It's almost like, when you go somewhere, and you're in the airport, but it doesn't really count.
Yeah.
Like say you fly to like Europe and you stop over in London, right? But you never leave the airport. Were you actually in London? Does that actually count? Can you actually say, hey, I was in England before?
No, I don't count it.
Yeah, right. So it's almost like doing these comps is kind of the same, where you're like, well, I was there, but was I really there? Does it really fully count? Because I didn't really actually get to see anything or do anything, and I was just in this like competition bubble, and they set me up in the hotel, and then they transferred me to the slope, and then the training facility, and back to the hotel, and then there's restaurants that are already set up for us, or like the buffets that they made for the athletes. So you don't actually really get to see much.
Yeah, then you're on a program. It's just like everything happening so fast, and you're all up in the air of doing your best run, and
Just thinking in your head, right? You don't actually get a chance to like.
But don't get me wrong. I like competing. I love to put like pressure on me and to complete a full run. But I find that also when I'm out shooting in the backcountry or whatever, it's like always you got to deal with pressure, and it's just a more positive pressure, I think.
Yeah, how does that compare for you? So when you're like, all right, I just got to Baker, Jeffy Thomas, the legendary Jeff Thomas, is like at the bottom with his camera, everything is running, and they're giving me the countdown, and I'm about to drop into this deepest run of my entire life, and I don't want to screw it up. How is that pressure different from performing like on a slope run?
I think I put more pressure on myself when I'm competing slopestyle, because you want to do so good.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you always want to do good, but from doing competitions, I find myself like not having that much pressure when I'm out shooting.
Right.
But I do put pressure on me. Like if I crash, yeah,
You're not happy.
yeah, I'm not happy.
And it's I guess you can take like that high pressure from competition and use that as a way to like, you know, balance out the other stuff. Because I guess with competition you have like one chance or three chances or however many runs you get, where
when you're filming, it's more like a conversation with the filmer and trying to like bond an idea, and it's awesome.
It's not as like high pressure. It's not as like high consequence either.
But if you're doing something like a trick of something, then it's more like, okay, fuck, if you better not blow this up.
Right.
Yeah.
See what happens, right? And then there's a lot coming this season too, right? Right now is prime pillows and POW skiing, and then later in the season, like you said, you're gonna meet up with Jacob, and it'll be kind of, knowing him, it'll most likely be
a little bit bigger lines,
long alpine lines,
yeah,
beautiful sunsets,
yeah,
that kind of thing. So it's a little bit different. And then I wonder if you guys will build like
some booters.
Yeah,
for sure. Got to get that air time.
yeah, right. Yeah. That's interesting. So back to the travel thing, is you were just in Turkey for a little while, and lately I've been paying more attention to like Eastern Europe and then into like Western Asia almost. You know, Georgia, they just did the Freeride World Tour in Georgia. I was trying to go there last year but couldn't really make it work. You saw like Coulter Hinchcliffe, he did that Instagram story of like the dog following him up the ridge and like following on a day of skiing. I'm like, that itself was awesome. And then so it's kind of coming out now, and then I was looking at some of your Turkey mission and it looked awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, fast decisions. We got invited to go there and film the area.
From like Tourism Turkey?
Yeah.
Who were you there with?
Paben and photographer Ulrich and a good friend of them, Zacharias. So we all knew each other from before, and they wanted us to show all the cultural things. And I was so amazed by the like wide mountain range.
Really?
That they have. It's huge. You go, like, we were in the valley. It was a lot of wind blowing, but when you go up to the top, you see mountain just as long as the horizon goes, like,
right,
all over the place. And we were super lucky with snow too, because it was dry there. We got there, the snow came. Yeah, the snow came, and we could actually find some powder. It was so sick.
So what, like, were you doing a lot of like ski touring, or was it, was it like lift access? Like what kind of?
Yeah, we did most lift access stuff, and then small touring missions to get if we saw something.
Yeah, was there like specific resorts that you were going to back and forth, or like did they have like, because it's like a tourism thing, did they have an itinerary for you? Like, hey, we're gonna put you in this hotel in this spot, and then we're gonna bring you over here. We're gonna put you up in this spot.
Yeah, it was just like that.
Oh, really? So it was, pretty much already set.
But we made it clear that we're there for skiing, and we did get a really good skiing, and it was so fun to see like the ski community there.
Yeah,
there's really, they're not that good at skiing, so, but they're all really hyped on to go out there and.
Right, just like kids or people in towns. Like I'm sure
people.
I'm sure everyone in town has their like one or two guides that are in the area.
Yeah, so the town we were in called Ezrum,
and
the mountain ski resort called Eider 3000. So really high altitude up there.
The resort's called what?
Eider
3000.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that like the elevation?
And the whole mountain range is called Palandoken. Yeah. It was crazy. I hope to come back there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about like the culture what was the best part about it? Like just everything?
Yeah, the food is amazing. They eat a lot of local food. Tomatoes. And a lot of kebab. The kebab is like holy for them.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Little kebabs. Did you get the like Turkish like hot sand coffee?
Yeah. that one, strong coffee over there.
Is it?
Normally we have strong coffee in Sweden compared to you guys, but Turkish people, they have the strongest coffee.
Right.
Yeah.
What were some of the other highlights, things that you didn't expect about traveling through
Ooh,
Turkey?
good techno music.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Good nightlife.
Oh, really? Did you guys party a bunch when you were there?
Yeah, one night we went out to see how it looked, and first there was like everybody standing against the wall, you know.
Like in the bar, in the place?
Yeah, in the bar, and we came in and like, okay, we're in Turkey, let's turn it up. So we had a whole dance floor by ourselves. At that, I think that was like 9. It was super early.
Right.
But then after a couple of hours, it was smacked and everybody was lit.
So they like saw you, all these like Swedish guys.
I think we turned it up a little notch.
Did you make a bunch of new friends?
Yeah. Good people there.
Oh yeah. What would you like if you had to give advice for someone that wanted to go like ski in Turkey or travel in Turkey? Like what would you give them? What would you say? Like what would I need to know heading to Turkey? Because I saw that and I'm like, I want to go ski there.
Find a local guy who can show you around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure how many ski resorts that they have around that like mountain range.
Mm-hmm.
And you just gotta be a little bit. They have like a tiny shorter season, so you should check the forecast before you go.
February, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So like,
but you should do the trip more of a like to do something different.
well, yeah, don't go to expecting to ski. Going for like an experience that you can ski at.
Yeah,
I'm going to ski, but that's not the only reason I'm going.
Yeah.
Right? What were some of the other like things you didn't expect from there? Like just traveling around and you know,
Like how big they have like huge hotels.
oh really?
Like they have really good what do you call it? They have place for a lot of people.
Yeah, big accommodations. Like I guess it's a lot of Russians there potentially.
I was expecting more Russians, but I didn't see that many.
No. Excellent. Good. And then so is it easy to like travel around there, or like would you suggest just going in?
Yeah, there's buses all over the places.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people may think of like Turkey as like a third world country, but it's not really. Like it's maybe when you get out closer to the mountains, it becomes a little bit more like old school way of life. But when you're in like the major cities and major towns, it's it's a first world country.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any issues like with travel, like with like communication or anything like that when you were through there?
Yeah, they're a little bit embarrassed of speaking English, but a lot of the younger people speak English super well. It's just the older people.
It's not like the Japanese where they'll how Japanese people have like 10 English words.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm gonna talk to that guy in English. You know what I mean? Like they want to talk to you. Whereas there it's kind of a different story.
They're really welcoming and they like to talk to you, I would say.
Yeah, so you'd suggest, well, like, where do you fly into? Istanbul, and then do you have to fly into another spot?
Yeah, Istanbul, and then we flew another 1 or 2 hour flight to Erzurum. It's a big country.
Erzurum.
Yeah.
And that's like in the like the eastern border.
Northeast. It's just like below Sochi, on the other side of that ocean that they have there.
Was it the Black Sea, I think?
Could be. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I like that. So Turkey, that's high on my list. Like I was saying, I want to go to places maybe a little bit farther out. Like
I know that they have 3,000 tops south of Turkey too.
Interesting, because there's like Georgia, there's Turkey. I was even looking at like Kazakhstan. There's like something popped up on my Instagram feed about like skiing in Kazakhstan, and from doing what I do, like I've been to a lot of really awesome places, and I really enjoy traveling to new ski spots, but I also like the travel spots. That's why I'm so fascinated with like picking your brain about the Turkey, because I just want to go through a market and like see how things go and like put my skis on a dump.
Yeah, it's super special to like wake up with the minaret,
like the candles.
No, the churches that they have, and they have like big towers where they do the
Islamic
prayers.
The Islamic prayers.
Yeah, so you wake up in the morning, you hear that, you get all gassed up and ready for a day in Turkey.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? I went to Morocco like like 10 years ago, and I remember I have probably 3 or 4 really distinct memories from that trip of just sitting somewhere and listening to
the minaret.
Yeah, the call to prayer, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so there's beautiful song coming over these speakers, like blasting out all the way across the town, just getting goosebumps, thinking, wow. I remember I was on like a rooftop patio just on the very, very edge of the Sahara Desert, like literally on the Sahara Desert. And I was in this kind of day bed thing, and there was like curtains lightly blowing in the wind, and then that song came on, and it just, I get goosebumps thinking about it. I was in Marrakesh, same thing. It was on a rooftop again, and there were 7 or 8 of them within like eyesight, and they all started at the same time, and they're all slightly different songs, but they all managed to complement each other, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So, and they do that 5 times a day, 3 times a day,
Something like that.
Yeah, and so it was like your alarm clock in the morning.
Yeah, and I think you can go ski during the day at some spots, and then go down to the ocean if you want.
Really? Is that close?
In the south, you can do that. Yeah.
Oh, so almost like the Norwegian style, like
Almost
ski tour, ski down to the fjords.
Yeah.
You can do that in Turkey if the snow is good enough, I guess. Hey.
Yeah, I don't think the mountain is that close to the ocean,
No.
but you gotta go find it.
All right. So moving on. So I'm gonna pick your brain more about Turkey because I kind of want to go there. You've got a good friend, an adventure buddy, named David.
Oh yeah, Kantermo.
Right. I've heard about him and your adventures. So tell me about David, and maybe a little bit about the Granbom Gap.
Ooh. Yeah, so he is just the most pumped up father figure I've come across. He's like in summers he's just out running in the forest looking for like path to go, and maybe put some like old wooden things on a place to have a kicker in the winter time, and then
so he goes in the summertime thinking about like building features for the winter.
yeah
Where does he do this?
at Åre, around Åre, all over the place, and he's just so gassed up skiing, and really lucky to be working with him because he knows all the good spots around Åre.
Well, so what's his deal? Where is he from? What does he do?
So he's from Åre.
Mm-hmm.
Moved into his parents' house and just loves the nature there.
Right.
He got 2 kids, which they're also super stoked on skiing and snowboarding.
So he's just a guy who just loves getting after it, basically.
Yeah.
So how did you end up connecting with him?
So when I stopped competing, I was looking for more adventure style of things, and he's working together with Stellar Equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking for a clothing brand which that fitted me, and we got along super well. And before we used to do WOT camps in Norway together with him. He used to arrange summer camps for skiers.
Right.
So I knew him from before.
Like when you were a kid?
No, I did some coaching.
Okay.
On those glaciers, 2 or 3 years. And then it aligned super well with them wanted to have like a more of a freestyle skier on the team, and as soon as I was on board, the ideas just starting to go.
And he's like, sweet, I got someone to hang out with now, right?
Yeah.
Like, is this a big kid at heart? And he's like, all right.
And I've always tried to be available when I'm home, and he calls me the day before like, I was out building a kicker, look at the pictures I sent, what do you do tomorrow? Can we wake up at 5 in the morning and go after it? Hey David, for sure.
It's good having those guys, right? Like so I'm not a starter like with adventure stuff, right? Like I need to know who I'm going with, you know. I've always been the guy that's like, I'm always down for anything. If someone says, hey, do you want to do this? I am in. But I'm rarely the person to be like, hey, do you want to go do this? Like I don't come up with I have some ideas, but I'm not like the starter. I'm usually the guy that's like, yes, I'm in.
David's a starter for sure.
The starter. So I was watching that little Granbom Gap video that you guys put out. Is that a David thing too?
For sure, that's a David thing.
So what's that all about? So it's like a 5 minute little film that you did.
Yeah, we had a super good start in Sweden in November. Like, it was warm all over the world, but I saw this like world picture of how the warmth is spread out.
Yeah, the jet stream and where the cold pockets and the hot pockets are.
Yeah, and it was warm all over the world except for like Scandinavia. And we had like super cold degrees, a bunch of snow. And there's like a sled track you can go up on the backside of the mountain. Mm-hmm. And normally during the winters it's just like filled in.
Yeah.
But that early it was like this big ravine, and he had this vision of me jumping over it. He just wanted to see someone fly over that thing.
Really? And it's just him being like, oh, it'd be cool to see someone jump that.
Yeah.
And then he called you. He's like, I know a guy that could do that.
Yeah. And the first day we got there, the snow was so dry, and I didn't wax my skis over the summer. I normally always do, but I just been lazy.
It was the first days out?
Like the first couple of days out. And I decided to bring, because the touring setup was all like waxed and properly, but I brought my like wider park skis and they were really dry.
Right.
So I barely made it over the first hit.
Yeah, it looked like you were like watching it. I was like, oh, and then I love that you just stood there pointing at your like your landing tracks, which are like literally on the edge of the cliff or the ravine, and you're just laughing. That's just probably my favorite part of the whole thing, was that you just being like, oh.
Yeah, ooh, spicy.
Yeah. And then you just, obviously in the film, just build it up again and went and hit it again. Did you go wax your skis? I love how you actually showed you waxing your skis.
Yeah, I had to wax my skis. And then the next day the snow was not that dry and better speed. But it was really hard to trick that. I did like 540s, but it was too difficult to like land switching with that speed and the snow. But I'm stoked to get two tricks over. Yeah, I did a front flip and a
flat spin.
Yeah, flat spin.
Yeah, and I liked it. I was like, it's not the gnarliest thing I've ever seen, but it's definitely like let's do something fun, right? Like you don't have to, if you're gonna put something out, that doesn't always either just have to be Instagram, and it also doesn't have to be a 20-minute film with a story and a project. You know what I mean? Like, I like these short little things, and your buddy's like, hey, I want you to jump over something, and you're like, okay,
for sure, I can do it.
Right? But then you actually put it together really nicely, and it was just fun. It was just fun.
And it's so beautiful those early mornings up there. Everything's like frozen and stale,
right? Because you get like the sunrise lasts a lot longer because you're so far north, right?
Yeah.
It's like, instead of like a half-hour sunrise, it's like a 3-hour sunrise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I'd really like to check out too. I've never been to Scandinavia.
Yeah, bring some warm clothes and you'll be fine.
Yeah, right.
And a headlamp.
What is it about? Like, a Stellar started in Aura as well, from the guys who started Peak Performance before, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder. Must be a good spot to set up a clothing company. Is there like a battle between Peak Performance and Stellar now?
No, not really.
No.
I'm the wrong guy to ask that.
Yeah, exactly, right. Because this podcast is sponsored by Peak Performance.
No.
They're gonna be like, you can't release that episode. No, I'm just teasing. So you have you got a bunch of different sponsors too. You're here skiing with Head, and I noticed in a lot of your videos you skiing on the Cole Richardson Pro Model. What is that, like, your go-to?
Yeah, when it comes to a lot of snow, and I always sometimes want to go switch, that's like a really good option for me to have. Mm-hmm. And this is the first time that I've like truly used the ski to its full potential, and I'm so happy to to have those skis under my foot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What is it about the ski that you love so much?
They're like super stable. When you have a bunch of snow under your feet, you can like get some slow turns. You have the time to see where you're going, rather than the ski just
like the 117 or something like that. That'll just like you point it and it'll take you there.
Yeah, but these things are really chargy too. They're stiff in the tail, a little bit more playful in the nose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super happy that they have made a new ski, and it's one step in the right direction.
Yeah, right. Do you get an opportunity to give them any feedback on things that you like or don't like for like other skis in the line?
Yeah, they try to get everyone's opinion on the ski and try to develop the skis the way we wanted them to.
Right.
But it's a really long turning radius. You noticed if you like go on the piste with them.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta be strong in the turns and gotta have a lot of speed.
Yeah, right. How did you end up getting on with Head? Have you been with them for a long time?
Yeah, my whole career.
Since you were in the school?
Yeah, in the town I grew up in, there's this guy Joachim, old skier. He has like a grinder is in his garage, ski grinder and a whole ski shop, and he helped me out to get on head skis when I was 14, I think. Got a good deal, like could buy skis for a good price.
Yeah, little pro deal.
Yeah, and then my actual like first ski trip was together with Head and Jesper Chader, and his brother too was there. And I was so young that I can drink like any alcohol. I think I was 14 or 15.
Right.
So they would sit in the hot tub and they were like, "Child, go grab us a beer." And that's when the nickname came up.
Oh, excellent. That's why I was just looking at you brought it up. So I was wondering why you're called the Child. Magnus thought maybe it was Henrik that gave that to you.
No. It was way before that. And so Carl Regner, his older brother, was also on Head at that time, and he just called me the Child all the time because I was so small.
You're just a little kid that was hanging around everybody,
Yeah.
so he started calling you Child.
Yeah.
And then how long did that last, or did people still call you Child?
For sure, yeah. And I like it though. I feel young.
Do you?
Up in here, so that's.
Because I guess now, like, you're still pretty young, but in the world of like professional skiers, you're coming into that almost middle age. 26, 27. Now you're really coming into your prime. You've been around for a while, but now there's all these young kids that are coming up behind you. Mm-hmm. Are you looking over your shoulder a little bit, or are you like being, oh, this is cool?
I tried to keep up with the young generation.
Yeah. And do you find yourself like maybe mentoring them a little bit? Maybe like you have been in the past for yourself?
Yeah, some of them for sure. But I spend more time with the older people all the time. I find myself just always with a bunch of older people.
Oh, yeah?
Because I like to get their experience and knowledge.
Do you have do you search out like mentors, or do you maybe not search them out, but you like focus on people that know better and like really pay attention? And
yeah, just people who inspires me.
Yeah, who are some of the people in your career that really like you think fondly of, like, I learned a lot from that person, or like they did a lot for me?
Yeah, when I was younger, I used to look up to a guy named Frey Jönsson. Mm-hmm. Do you know who it is?
I don't know if I do.
He was one of the first guys to do a double cork 7 at JOI. And then Henrik did it I think they did it the same season. But he was a big inspiration. Henrik Harlow, for sure. Mm-hmm. And then Candide, been watching him since I was a young kid. Tanner Hall. Yeah. But when it comes to like mentoring, I find myself I've had some agents, but I've always been grinding on my own.
Really?
And like try to ask me all the time, like, where do you want to see yourself skiing? Where do you think you will find most like comfort and challengers. I don't know.
Where do you think you want to be? Like that's the question you're asking yourself is like, you know, where's the best place that you want to end up that'll satisfy not only like your mind and your creativity, but also your skiing ability, that sort of thing. And you find that like you don't have an agent now, but you have in the past.
Not really.
No, but you just find it's easier for you to kind of navigate.
Yeah, through it all.
Yeah, through it yourself. Just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah, and just be happy with the moment you're in always. Because then you will find yourself in a good spot. Yeah,
I guess so. That's interesting to think about it that way. Because like I always say, if you have expectations, they're never ever met. Right? Like if like some of the best nights of your life or the best ski days you've ever had with your friends,
they're just happening.
Yeah, they're the days that you just show up with the right people at the right time, and it's like, oh, what are we doing? Okay, this is the best. And at the end you're like, that was the best day ever. But when you go in with very strict rules or rigid expectations, like they're never what you expect them to be.
No.
Right? So I guess just having that easy kind of go with the flow attitude, see what comes and we'll do something with it.
Try to surf life as much as possible. Just see life as a big wave and try to ride it as good as possible.
Yeah, right. Is that kind of like why the bunch works so well with each other?
The crew get along super well, and they're all super respectful for each other, and for sure that's one thing.
That's pretty sweet. Some more of your sponsors. This is a good spot to pump your sponsors out. Nucko is like a coffee drink, isn't it?
Yeah, caffeine drink with proteins in it, like amino acids.
Right, and it's mostly just Swedes and Norwegians that are on.
Yeah, they have a bunch of Austrian skiers too.
Yeah. Are they gonna... I think I asked Henrik Winstedt this, because Henrik's on Nucko.
Carl Regner.
Hedvig too.
She was on the team, but not anymore.
Not anymore?
No.
No, you took her contract?
No, I didn't.
It's teasing.
They're keeping me boosted up all the time.
Yeah, are they gonna be like releasing stuff out in like North America at all?
I know they have their drink in America. I'm not sure about Canada yet.
Are they a good sponsor when it comes to like, you know, how Red Bull sponsors a lot of projects and events and stuff? Are they good when you're like, hey, I have this idea, I want to go and do something? Are they going to be like, yeah, cool, we're on board? Are they an easy company to work with like that?
Yeah, they're really good to work with. They're focused. It's a lot of like on training and fitness or just workout.
Right.
Which I try to do as much as possible to keep my body in shape and mindset on shape. But they're really good with ideas, and that's
just supporting that kind of stuff. Like, so if like David comes to you and is like, hey, I've got this really wild idea, and you're like, all right, let's see if we can get some money for it, and they'll call Nucko up, and they're
probably.
like, maybe. Interesting.
Yeah.
And then so with regards to like the rest of the season, you're gonna be here for, you said like another week or so?
Yeah, a couple more days.
See
how the forecast is turning out, and
may have to push your flight back in case it stays good.
Yeah.
And then back to
Oslo, where I have my girlfriend right now.
Yeah, and then you're gonna be meeting up with Jakob and Sophia at the end of the month.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, in 2 weeks or so.
And then what are you gonna do for April? Because is that like, because I know that time of year a lot of crews get together. Like there's the nines, and then there's like the Kimbo sessions, and then there's all sorts of things that pop up that time of year for like, you know, slope and park sessions. Do you have anything lined up for that?
Yeah, I would love to do Kimbo sessions, but I'm not sure if I just wanted to do some completely else during. Yeah, try to do something different at the end of the season. Normally we all go up to Riksgränsen because you can ski there out through May.
Yeah.
But I would love to see a little bit more of the Norwegian spring ski scene. Do some more skinning and maybe ice climbing.
Yeah.
Get that axe out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start exploring more of that side of the ski world, because you've done this. Now you need to go check that out, right?
Yeah. I love to get a park session in there somewhere.
What do you think about the slush games that are going on right now?
Ooh, I'm excited to see it all.
Yeah, hey. Do you miss? Do you have a little bit of like I wish I was there?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, a little bit of FOMO. I know the crew is having a good time over there.
Yeah.
And I love Andorra. It's always like a spring vibe, and bring the sunscreen.
Yeah, even in the middle of the winter, it always seems like a spring vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
In Andorra, is that like one of your favorite things that you've done? Like that kind of like gathering slush, because it's like a competition, but it's also not.
It's so difficult to say. I find myself like having the best time everywhere I go.
Yeah, you seem like that kind of guy.
Yeah. I wouldn't. Yeah, it's a great crew to be around, like the Slush Cup group. And it's like so interesting to play a game with a skier you know it's so good, but you're asking yourself like, can you do this grab, or like,
right?
It's like a playful thing to do,
right? And how's that different from say like Nanda, which you did this year, which was another really awesome competition that kind of blends both worlds?
Yeah, a dream competition where we could do some scoping into the face, like walking in and see how it looked, but it's all so new to me, all that stuff, and it's so nice too. I remember like going to bed the night before, just looking at the lines I was visualizing, and I had like max pulse.
Oh really?
Just looking at those pictures, and I find that super fun.
Right, because you don't know what to expect. There's no training runs. You just have to like figure it out as you go.
Yeah, and it was so nice. We had 3 runs. So first run, you were like, I wonder how it all feels.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do it, and then you go up the second time, you're like more gassed. And then the third run, you're like kind of tired in the legs, but then you're like, okay.
Did you have to boot pack to the top?
We took the Gandhi, and it was like maybe 5-min walk with boot.
Right, and you're just trying to keep that feeling in your head of like, okay, I hit this. Did you have the same run 3 times in a row, or did you mix it up?
I tried to mix it up, but I failed one run, and I just thought about cleaning it up the third run. Yeah.
Right. Spoken like a true competitor, is like, I gotta make sure
I gotta fucking put it down.
Sick, man. So where can people find you, like on social media and all that stuff? Do you use it a lot? I was actually looking at your Instagram account, and I was like, I like this. It was fun. It was a fun watch.
I'll try to keep up with Instagram. Not that much on TikTok, but I'll do my best. Try to put some small projects onto YouTube.
Yeah. Keep
the project going.
TikTok, do you do dances?
Not yet.
The TikTok dances?
No.
Not yet.
Maybe the curry egg dance.
You gotta make up the kitchen to breakfast dance.
Yeah.
What, and is it all just Emil Granbom?
Yeah.
Underscore or anything, or just straight up?
Straight up Emil Granbom.
Granbom. Yeah. Any other projects that are like just about to launch, like be released, or are you just gonna have to wait till the fall?
So I'm joining Oystein Bråten and Trygg Lindkjølen for one of their like freeride projects.
Mm-hmm.
That you gotta keep an eye open to look for, and then the new head movie, and then Jakob Wester's project too.
So you got lots going on.
Yeah, everything's just happening, and I try to do as much as possible on those projects. And I'll hope to collect all the footage and put out a little free ride,
like an athlete edit or something.
Yeah.
Interesting, because I heard that there probably won't be a bunch movie this year.
No, there's so many, like a lot of still like promoting to do for the projects that we already have.
Yeah.
And maybe next season, who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Right on, man. Well, I appreciate you coming by with such short notice. And you've never been to Whistler Village, so let's get you in there and we'll show you around.
Check it out.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Boom.
Thanks, buddy.
You've been listening to the Low Pressure Podcast, the podcast for skiers. This has been a Redmark Media production.